So today I'm going to be doing a review on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 keyboard covers, and you might be wondering if those are worth buying because you got your Tab S9, you're so excited, but let's face it, the Tab S9 is a little bit smaller, so you may be wondering, is the keyboard cover bigger this year? How does that work? How good is it? So we're going to test them out. I'm going to let you know what I think of these with this full detailed review on them. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's compare these keyboard covers. So if you're out there today and you have a Tab S9, you spend all that money on it, and now there's two keyboard cover options, and you're like, what are the differences between these? There is a $199 book cover keyboard, and there is another keyboard cover that is $140. Now, I do understand you may see some different deals on these keyboard covers. Sometimes they do offer them for cheaper if you do buy them with the tablet. So it is going to be different depending on who you are and when you buy these keyboard covers. But generally speaking, the regular keyboard cover is $60 extra. So the big difference is that there is a detachable element to the $200 book cover keyboard. So that means that you do have the keyboard here that can detach from the bottom. It attaches or detaches, of course, at the bottom of the tablet. And you have this kickstand here on the back of the tablet. So it magnetizes to the back of the tablet and you can use it with the keyboard or without it. And that is very, very significant for those of you who want to prop up your tablet on your desk. Maybe you want to prop it up on your lap. You want to prop it up in the kitchen, wherever you want to use your tablet, whether you have a keyboard or not, you could use it as a normal tablet or use it as a little mini laptop with that keyboard. That detachable element is a really, really big deal. And the other thing you need to know is that this keyboard cover does have a touchpad or a trackpad here. So for those of you who want a mouse just built into your little keyboard, that is very, very significant, because if you don't have that, when you look at the slim keyboard cover, you are sadly going to have to get a little bit of a Bluetooth mouse, put it on the side. Now for those of you who don't want a touchpad, sure, the slim keyboard cover might be great for you, but you also have to consider that you can't detach it, and that means that if you want a kickstand, well, you're going to have to find a separate case and you're going to have to go back and forth between the slim keyboard cover and between the other cases that you buy. And that could be a little bit of a pain for a lot of you. Also, if you put your device in the slim keyboard cover, you only get one angle with it. So you attach it with the back, of course, it magnetizes to your tablet. Of course, you do get S-Pen protection this year, which I really, really like. This can be removed, by the way, if you do want to remove it, if you don't like having it. But once you attach the tablet in here, all it does is it just magnetizes right here with one angle, and that's it. So if you're someone who wants a different angle, you're gonna have to take your tablet out and find a different case for it. So that's great for those of you who always want a keyboard attached. And it's great for those of you who barely ever want a keyboard attached. And on rare occasions, you might decide to take your tablet out of your case and attach it to this. This is gonna be a really, really good option. Also, because you don't have to deal with the kickstand and the wobbling with a detachable tablet, it's gonna be a little bit sturdier on your lap. But I will say the regular keyboard cover, compared to the Tab S7 model that also had a trackpad, this is a little more rigid. They did improve the rigidity along all of the Tab S9 lineup. So it's really, really nice that the keyboard does feel a little bit more stable, which is really, really nice. It feels a lot sturdier. It's a little bit thicker though, a little bit heavier than previous years, but it is really, really sturdy, which I really, really do like. And the keys feel really nice whenever I do press them, of course. It does feel great. I am noticing a lot of fingerprints on the keys. I haven't been using this keyboard for a super long time, and I've already got fingerprints throughout the keys on this device. So you might get a lot of fingerprints on the back of the tablet case or on the actual keys themselves. That is one thing to keep in mind. And when you are using the keys, the travel is decent. I have to remind people this is a keyboard that you are traveling with. Remember that you're not going to get the same travel that you get from a super thick keyboard, obviously. So it's not going to be a perfect experience. And I will say that there are other keyboards out there like the Surface Pros that are a little bit better in my opinion. But despite that, it still is a decent keyboard cover. It does feel a little more comfortable for me to type on than the Tab S7 keyboard cover. I will say that. It does feel a little nicer. Even the touchpad does feel a little bit nicer as well. But I still have to say, I wish it was a little bit nicer for the price. I wish it had backlighting. This does not have backlighting. Neither of these keyboards have backlighting. But if I were gauging these and I was deciding which one to buy, I would buy the more expensive model. Because for me, the detachable element is just so important. I mentioned this in my Tab S9 Ultra book cover keyboard review, but that detachable element is crucial for those of you who, again, don't want to always have a keyboard attached. Like, a lot of people have a tablet for a reason, because we don't want a laptop. If you always have a keyboard attached, what's the point of having a tablet in the first place? Like, a huge part of a tablet is being able to travel around with it and have it be super lightweight without a keyboard always having to be there. And that's really the thing that I hate about the Magic Keyboard that Apple has, and that's what I love about these Samsung keyboards. So even if the keys don't feel quite as premium as something like a Magic Keyboard, even if it doesn't feel quite as good as something like a Surface Pro keyboard, at least I do have that detachable element, which I really like. And even though it's a little bit pricey, let's admit it, $200 is very, very pricey for a keyboard. Whenever you are spending $800 on a tablet like you are on the Tab S9, that is a lot to consider, because do you really want to spend all that money and then not enjoy the tablet because you don't want to get a book cover keyboard for it? And when you buy a lot of kickstands on Amazon and cases, a lot of those just aren't good at all. You end up spending like 40 bucks on some junk or 30 bucks on some junk that you don't like. But the kickstands are so nice, and if you pair it with a tempered glass on the front, which you could also buy on Amazon, it could be a really big deal. Do I think it's worth 200 bucks technically speaking? Not really. But what are my other options to get a good experience, to always protect the front of my tablet, of course, with a keyboard, to have a slim and lightweight option? Of course, this is heavier than previous years, I do understand that, but still, I have to say, if you want a slim option, you want a detachable option, you want a trackpad with it, it's only an extra 60 bucks to get that on this tablet, so I would recommend that over the slim keyboard cover. Now, the slim keyboard cover, it still is good. Of course, the keys do feel a little bit cheap, but it does still feel better than a lot of cheap $30, $40, $50 keyboards. It is still very portable, and it's good for those of you who need it on occasion. You could just pop it on that keyboard occasionally. It might not have a lot of angles, but it's still going to be a good option for so many of you. And I think if you get it for a deal, maybe you get it on sale, it's still a good option. And it's also a good option for those of you who want to always have your keyboard attached. I know I'm against that personally, but I can't put my personal feelings onto you. A lot of you want your keyboard cover always attached, and you still want a tablet for other reasons. Maybe you want a nicer screen, maybe you want to use an S Pen or things like that. There might be a lot of things that draw you into an Android tablet, but you still want a keyboard cover, and maybe you don't want a trackpad, or you don't want that touchpad, whatever the case, you just want a Bluetooth mouse, and you don't want that trackpad getting in the way of your experience. And if that is the case, again, the slim keyboard cover is still really good. I would recommend both of these this year. I wish they were a little bit more premium, and yes, I do wish they had backlighting on the keys, but outside of those things, they are still improved over previous years, especially this keyboard cover here, the regular one. It is at least a little more rigid, and I do really like that. So hopefully this video has helped you out. Hopefully you do make a good and wise decision for yourself. Even if you don't go with either of these, you can get a Bluetooth keyboard in a cheap case, and I would not blame you one bit. And you just bring those with you. I think it would work out just fine. And you can have a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse at the same time if you do need to buy those and just use them separately. So that's a good option for those of you who want to save a little bit of money. But if this video has helped you, give me a like, and check out those links in the description, by the way, because that is a great way to support my smaller channel. And I'm going to have a ton of Galaxy Tab content, a lot with accessories. I'm going to have full reviews on these tablets, so please stay tuned to my channel. So thanks again for your support. Give me a like on this video and a sub if you really want to. That would mean a lot. And again, I have a lot of great videos, so feel free to check some out if you've got some time.